Calm down. Just you know, I think the one thing about it is first of all, let's go ahead and do the introduction.
Okay.
What's going on, everybody? I want to welcome a up and content creator that I've been like the eyes on the sparrow. And content creator. Oh, you got to just turn off your feedback from the YouTube channel. Just turn off that. Like the eyes on the sparrow. There you go. Got it. So, go to your YouTube and put it on mute, and then that's it. That's what you gotta do. Let me know when you got it. There we go. I wanted to do this conversation with a good friend of mine, and actually, I've been watching her content for a while, and we've been building and actually trying to make some stuff. And literally, I reached out, and I think this could definitely work. So I definitely want to have the said discussion. Something I believe that is more than beneficial for not just women, but also for men. On something that a lot of us are wayward spirits, boats, I believe, we're trying to find our way. I know I am. And it's going to take time. It's going to take a lot of time and patience and due diligence. And literally, I believe that throughout the storm, we can do it. But however, a lot of people, they go through their fair share of things in their life. And, it doesn't make you mean that you're weak. It just means that you're vulnerable. If you guys are coming on to the chat, like the video, share the video. Like the video, share the video. You already know how it is. But I wanted to do this discussion with Underground Steez. Yes, I know. Her name is pretty retro, but I dig it. And the conversation is going to be about, that was brought to you by her, is can asking for help in sanity lead to a recipe for disaster? That's not an easy question to ask because literally we're seeing it now. We're seeing it definitely now, especially amongst a lot of people. Whereas they want help, they want guidance, they want love, they want protection, they want somebody just to fellowship and say, "Hey, I got you, I get you," but they don't feel like. And so, I'm joined here by my good associate for tonight and also the co-host for tonight, Underground Steez, on the last show. So let's talk about it. So, Steez, what's going on?
I'm doing well. Well, I'm trying. So for the past, I would say over the past decade, it's kind of been like a train wreck and a roller coaster at the same time. People failed me. And as I mentioned earlier, my relatives, they failed me. So-called friends, professionals, spiritual counselors, they failed me. And they failed me immensely. And it just caused me to become erratic and just do the unthinkable.
Go ahead.
I was a runaway teen, and I got into a relationship with somebody, and I thought this person was just like everything to me. Like he was the answer to everything. He was like my savior, like everything that I needed. Like he was just instantly there. And then he changed and he became violent. And yeah, and I was a victim of domestic abuse as well as narcissistic abuse. Um, so, and it happened when I told him that I wanted to break it off with him. I just couldn't do it with him anymore. Like I was kind of tired of the games and everything else. And because I left, that's when he became physically violent and stuff. And how I escaped from domestic violence, I had to lie. I had to lie to escape from this person. Um, and he asked me, oh, like, at that time he was working and stuff, and I was off that day. And then he said, are you, asked me if I was gonna leave. I said, no, I'm not gonna leave. I'm not gonna leave. And then I waited 10, 15 minutes till he left. That's when I got my things. I got everything else. And I ended up going to a shelter. And I was accepted at that shelter by someone. And yeah, I was there, and at the same time I was working, and that became a disaster as well. Because the person that referred me to go there, who was supposedly this spiritual person, this good Samaritan, she was a complete scam. She was a facade. And when she got exposed, that's when things got crazy and things became a whole mess. And
Was it one of those shelters that charge you? But I know there's shelters that
no,
charge.
I ended up going to a shelter that charged me. I was fine with that. I mean, because I was employed, I just needed to leave my situation. I just wanted just my mental peace. I just wanted to go somewhere. I was thankful for the person that accepted me in that shelter, and just go about my business and just continue to work. And I was there for a short period of time, and it became bad because she ended up trying to create a discord between me and the person that accepted me in. And then she was accusing her of stuff, and it was so sad
Right.
because it didn't have to be that way. It's like she felt that she should be given more monetarily for what she has done. Yet she hasn't really stated anything of what she wanted to charge. She hasn't stated none of that. She was just she was trying to create this facade that like she was just this false good Samaritan person. And then she tried to create this false accusation that I wanted to be with whomever that she wanted to be. Like the bitch was delusional, whatever. And she was doing, and now that I was pieces to the puzzle, it was really because her and her daughter had a rift, and her daughter kicked her out the house. So I felt like I was kind of like a
You want me to
replacement.
put the pizza back in the
And
oven?
when I kind of saw through the game,
Pizza back in the oven.
when I saw through the games of what she was pulling, that's when she started cussing at me. That's when she started, just becoming like a whole monster. And I needed a lot of healing enduring what I had endured.
Okay.
So after that, I was just the people that I try to that I needed to seek help. They weren't really helping me. I remember when I tried to go to therapy the first time, which wasn't to this place not too far from me, and they asked me what was my current situation, and they asked me, oh, is it dealing with custody or or things of that nature, or any court situation. I said no. And then you know what the therapist said? The therapist said, oh good, because I cannot deal with any more. I said, what the fuck? What? Even if I did not, why would you want to pick and choose what you want to deal with and what you not? How dare you be so biased? So imagine if my case was dealing like that. So you're gonna automatically shun me. You're automatically. I I felt like I was in a twilight zone. I really felt like I was on a twilight zone. And then I went to another therapist,
Now, let's
and
let's stop right there. Let's stop right there.
mhm,
Okay. And we're joined here by Robbie. We're joined here
Hello,
by
how is
Robbie.
everybody doing today?
What's going on, Robbie? So
Chilling,
and
chilling.
welcome everyone. If you're coming on in, help me fight the censorship. Share the video. And we're gonna have the discussion. And we're gonna have a good discussion on this. It's gonna be some talks that we're gonna talk through and going over some stuff. Um, One of the things about it is a lot of people who are going through a lot of hurt and pain. Uh, they look for a type of uh, they want an umbrella from the rain or the pain from dealing with certain issues. They want to learn help have somebody be able to cope with. Um, and Sally, I'm sorry that you had your share of people that have put you and dragged you through the ringer. That happens quite a lot, um, especially in society. People look for certain types of stuff. There are the prey and there's the victims, and literally, um, you so badly wanted to have somebody to say, I get you, I understand you," and that's getting hard. That's hard to do. Um, I mean, just hearing it, I could empathize, but I've been there. I definitely wanted somebody to be able to hear me out and work with me, and they'll be like, "Well, you should have did this or you should have did that. Um, you should have did this. You should have did that." One of the um, one of the things about it, I will tell a lot of people, but a lot of people still going through it today, is that learning how to. First off, you got to learn how to be at peace with yourself. And then there's a big issue that a lot of people have is learning how to be at peace with themselves, because that people pick up on that. They look for what you're going through, and they'll listen, and then they'll say, "Okay, time to play and turn on that Messiah mode and see if this person is looking for a savior. If they're looking for a savior, what are they willing to offer to be saved?" I'm gonna pass it over to Robbie. What's going on, Robbie?
Oh, nothing, chilling. I'm dealing with the hubby and the kids, but I wanted to come on and support for a few minutes.
Right.
I think that is very heartbreaking when people don't get the type of help that they are looking for when they're dealing in these spaces. But I think that understanding that you're not getting your needs met is one of the biggest parts to breaking the hold that situations have on you. Now, excuse me, just because you had a bad encounter with one person, that doesn't mean you stop trying. When it comes to these therapeutic relationships, you have to look at it like you look at a relationship with a lover. Your therapist or your psychiatrist is going to become one of the people that you're the most intimate with because there are no boundaries with a therapist. You can just freely speak your mind. So when you don't have a good fit, you don't say, "Oh well, I'm never gonna get help again" or whatever. You keep trying and you keep seeking. And just like with relationships, you can have a bad run of relationship for some decades until you find the perfect partner for you. It is the same way with therapy. It is the action of seeking help that lets you know you're sane because you know there's a problem and you're trying to fix it.
Right. Um, now let's tackle the first portion of it. Uh, Running a home, an abusive or disastrously home. Let's check.
Mhm.
Let's check at that one first.
Right.
I came from a dysfunctional home.
Let's check.
wasn't
Mhm.
Let's check
It
at that.
wasn't all good. It wasn't all bad, but it could have been better. So I can
Mm,
understand what we're seeing now in society. Is a lot of people. You get what I'm saying, ladies? Are If you can't find peace in your home, then where can you find peace? You know what I'm saying? And you tend to start running into different webs or different people start picking up on that. We see it happen to a lot of ladies. Um, if they, a man will pick up on, if she's a vulnerability because her strength will come from the men around her in her home. That'll be her strength. A woman can't shoot certain game at a man because the mama or a sister or somebody who has some kind of validity in his wife in his life, they will start to insert and impress into that man. Watch out for them fast girls. Watch out for them girls who do this and do that. They will tell you that nature. But if you're not getting that, and I've been in an abusive relationship, so I know. I don't want y'all to think that only females can get abused in a relationship. It goes both hands.
Mhm.
It can go both ways. I used to have it where, I was staying with a shawty and she would say, if you don't do what I say, I'll kick your ass out. She used to throw plates, uh, like pull out a knife and stuff. And don't get me wrong, I fought back, but her best way or her best uh era of when we were, I guess, thick as thieves or together was in dysfunction. And so the only way that they could properly function with you is when they are breaking you down. That's not love. That's just hate and pain and suffering. And some people, that's the only way. So when they say that's real love by a woman or a man, you know, disrespecting you or putting their hands on you or having some type of control over you, that's what they will do because that's the best way they can control you. So I pass it back over to Steez. Go ahead, Steez.
Yeah, so it's been like that in a majority of the relationships that I encountered. They were basically Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde,
Mm-hmm.
and it just it just gets me lost and exhausted and just irritated. For the past 3 years, I stopped dating. I temporarily started stopped dating 3 years ago because I was tired of feeling like I was just another option, or just some type of eye candy, just this, just that. Like it just got so irritating to me, and I just I broke down. Like I couldn't do it anymore. I didn't want to talk to anyone. Everybody that was like people that are when people come around me, and it could be something innocent, it's just like, what the fuck do you want? Like I would just have just this negative attitude and this outlook because of the experiences that I encountered, whether if it's relationships, dating, or even friendships, people misconstruing the things that I say and then twist it around to create some type of narrative, which is like the deadliest weapon someone can do, especially someone
Right.
that is supposed to be your so-called friend. I don't even know what that is like anymore.
Yeah, but people gonna do what they gonna do. Like you can't feed that energy, man. Don't you understand when people are trying to twist narratives and they're trying to put it on you, they are trying to invalidate your feelings. Your feelings are valid. You are valid. You can't give people that much power. And ultimately, while we strive to find happiness in situations and people and places and things, like you have to have, Michael, please, thank you. You have to have inner peace and you have to have your inner happy. Even if you are in situations that are toxic, that are pressing, that are hard to push through, you got to keep that peace inside of you.
I think one of the things about it, and I came I'm speaking from the men's perspective as and it could be applied somewhat to the women, is that a lot of people, especially growing up in dysfunction, think that that's the only lifestyle of living is just in dysfunction. They're too afraid to stand alone. And then it never bothered me going to a diner and eating by myself. I had to learn how to love me for me and for my faults.
Mhm.
You get what I'm saying, Steve? Like I had to learn how to love my faults. I had to be willing to look in the mirror and say, well, damn, like I'm seeing all my homeboys, we at the apartment, they all going into the bedrooms with their girl. I'm still sitting there at the PlayStation by myself. And, it kind of hurt, but I had to learn that it just wasn't my time.
Yeah.
And that was more so my time to do, one of the things about it, work on me. So while
Mhm.
they were focusing on acceptance from and sexuality gratification, I spent that in learning things, learning
Mhm.
me, know thyself. So nobody could tell me about me better than me. And so I knew what I was going to allow and what I wasn't going to allow. I knew that I was never going to be allowed certain types of disrespect or certain type of thing to happen. Now, and coming to that, sometimes, and I'm going to speak from something of, let me make sure I have this. So there you go. So before I speak on this book right here, do any of y'all know what this book is? Okay. Good. All right.
Isn't that the New Testament?
Close. This is the book given to you when you become a licensed minister. If you ever look at a marriage, you will notice that you see a minister will pull out this book. This is what we get when we finish school, and we're like, okay, so that way I'm officially yes, I know BMT is officially one of the cloth men. I don't I hung up that choke collar a long time ago. Now,
You know what? It's time for you to put it back on.
no.
God is trying to
I,
tell
I
you
I
something.
will hand that collar over to Apostle Research and let him carry on that ministry. But what I will say, I saw a lot, bro, of impressionable, lost young women and broken men walk through my staple doors, clinging on for some said leadership or somebody to tell them you are somebody.
Amen. But wait. I have to jump off. Hubby's calling me. He's like, bring
All
it.
right. All right, Miss Rob, you know you about to get in deep when I pulled out this book. Like, I got some stuff I want to say about that. Now,
Yes, we gonna get back into it.
I just want you to know. So when y'all want to have an official talk, believe me, I can go there. I can go there. I'm not like these dudes that want to throw battle scriptures. No, I'm gonna just talk with y'all about the real. And I'm not. But one of the things about it is that they would try to take when you was in that phase, Steve. I've seen a lot of young females come in there, and baby, I can use you. God can use you. Let me do this, do that. And I would watch them pour money, time, effort, different things in. And I said, how's that building you? In the minute that minister gets tired of you, or he has a family, you feel like you've been betrayed. Because your assets of time to me is a resource. I believe time is time still a resource? Is that still a resource?
Yep.
Okay, I just got to make sure, Mr. Research. Time is a resource. So,
Bye, y'all.
so I would watch women and I watch men put time and resource into clinging on to wanting to believe in something, only to be misled. Let's just call it misled. And then, I want to rhyme it. That's the minister in me. But they would get misled and misused. And then guess what happens? More betterment, more disaster. Like they said in Coming to America, one of the best places to find a female is where? Go to church.
Here's the thing. I started counseling in 2005. And this is what I learned about helping people. Many people came to counseling looking for reasons why they should keep conducting themselves the way they were enjoying doing, or wish they can find a way to make their theories on life applicable to their current walk on this planet Earth. And the reality is, when you're trying to be humble, you must strip away things. When you're trying to look at yourself in the mirror, you must truly look. Right. Many times when it comes to interacting with a job, a child, a significant other, or a lover, the person in question coming to seek the counseling many times doesn't even realize that their agenda is more important to them than the actual lifting of the burden. For example, had this guy back in 2006. He had contracted full-blown AIDS. Mm-hmm. And he was in a woe state of mind. And I said, well, you know what? Here's the thing about Mother Nature and God. You don't know if you're going to miraculously be cured, or if there's going to be some type of formula 5 years from now. But your goal right now should be to live a beautiful life, unlike the life that got you in this situation. And it took him a while to get it, but he said, you know what? Totally got that. And then lo and behold, what ended up happening? His HIV count miraculously dropped. Good. So I guess my point in saying all that is that, yes, people can be manipulated, but I think that people really need to come to counseling in a vetting state of mind. I'm not necessarily perfect. Mm-hmm. The lady counselor ain't necessarily perfect, but also you have to come with a, hey, I just want things to kind of normalize in my life. I want to get some suggestions that can possibly normalize what's happening in my life. And unfortunately, a lot of people don't want that part of the game. They only want the things that help them continue how they believe it should be done.
Now, now, I'm gonna give it back to Steez. Steez, why do you think? Why do you think? But I was as I was listening to you, it sounded like you were searching for something, just like a lot of just like me and research see on YouTube. A lot of men are searching for something. Do you know? You don't have to say it, but do you know what you were searching for?
I feel like I'm searching for safety
Mm.
and a peace of mind. And just because I am a female, or just because I don't subscribe to a lot of the ratchetry, don't perceive me as being a bitch. Don't perceive me as just someone that is just a quote unquote party pooper, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
I've had people, and this include the experiences that I go through at work, and also personal experiences where they try to, I don't know how to explain it. Like they crack jokes in a way that it is not funny. It's insulting more than it is funny. And they thought they can get away with it. And when I call out that, or when I call out some of the unpleasant behavior that they had, instead of apologizing and taking ownership of what they were trying to purposely do, and by trying to glaze it as something else, now they want no parts of me because I'm different, if that makes sense.
Here's a question. When you said call it out, did you go to HR?
Yeah, I mean, I call it out by going, yeah, I go to management um,
No, 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 HR.
regarding HR. No, I don't go to HR
Hmm.
like I should, but I did speak to um, someone else that um, is in charge, and they were able to have it resolved, and the person only apologized because I brought it up to someone else above us. But if I didn't bring it up, then would that person even had the decency to even apologize? No.
Was it about
So
you personally, or did it make you?
yeah, it was about me. Yeah,
Oh,
it was subliminal. Yeah, it was subliminal.
okay.
And it's not just in the workplace, it's just like with just people, period, where they think they can just play with my emotions and try to perceive me as harmless because I don't say much. I'm quiet. I mind my business. I'm respectful to people. Um,
But you
and
were, but
I just,
you were clearly affected by the event.
yeah, I was affected because it was directed at me.
Okay.
It was directed at me. Yeah.
Let me offer this suggestion. You were correct in what you did as you describe it. Okay, as you describe it.
Mhm.
But I would suggest moving forward, you look at two things. One, in being right about the last 15 events,
Mhm.
sometimes we can take on the energy, and vibration is a real thing.
Yeah.
And it can magnify or attract the 16th event, the 17th event, the 20th event. I say that to say not ignore it, but just be cognizant that these events, and it happened to me once, these events, when they pile, you sometimes have to put yourself in a position, not at work. We're not talking work, we're talking about other events. You got to put yourself in a position to where the goal of getting people to acknowledge my personal pain, my personal uncomfortableness was not the most tactful thing for me because it ended up getting into my soul on the 17th and 18th time. I needed to reserve those things for when it was really important, like at work and I can't go nowhere. I got to deal with this and it's making me uncomfortable. Because sometimes what we'll tend to do is take on the energy of these knuckleheads, and avoidance sometimes in a non-work related environment is sometimes better so it doesn't get into our soul. And the second thing I'd say is I think that sometimes in the situation that you describe, and this is just a suggestion, doesn't mean I'm right or wrong. Sometimes you, in order to get people to know that you're extremely serious, I tell people do the acid rain thing. Go straight to HR. Don't even do the managers and hey, I'll talk to them. No, no, no. I even do it at my job. Sometimes you have to go straight to that manager that's going to get the results, or go straight to that situation that's going to put a dead end to it. And if they feel something about it, so what? Remember, you're not the initiator. And as long as you're not the initiator, you don't never have to really worry about their feelings about you, but more so how you can protect yourself so you can do what you need to do and make your money. But outside of work, sometimes avoidance is the better thing to protect your soul, because you will take on some of these things into your spirit and you'll magnetize the 18th and 19th event. That's
Let
just
me I brought somebody here special. And she don't listen. When I took Mr. Research, I gotta one day get her over to your show. Um this woman is a self-made business owner. She has her own brand of lotions, hair product, soap. Jen, did I miss anything? And literally she talks
All
about
natural.
all natural, excuse me, all natural, and
Yeah.
literally safe for black people. But other people, you can use it, but I definitely know it does definitely work for black people. And she has it in going into stores. And she literally talks about self-improvement a lot. And I'd be like, why don't more people be listening to her? She's literally self-made, her own self-made business. And she talks about empowerment. And I felt like Underground Steez, I would be doing you a disservice if I didn't go grab my good longtime friend Jen, aka Jennifer Wilson, and bring her in for this conversation. And literally, she has a powerful story of her of she's had all the odds against her, and she still is beating them, hands down. Like literally, this is the we don't got women like her on social media. They couldn't keep up with her pedigree. Jen, the topic is, can asking for help and sanity lead to a recipe for disaster? Literally, people looking for help have been led astray, been abused, misused, and they're looking for some type of. They want to be able to learn how to stand strong and on their own and proud. So I'm letting you take it for however you want to take it in that direction. We got Mr. Research speaking to the brothers. Steve, she's giving out her input and about the damages. Jan, we'll just look up to you, speak about the healing. Go ahead.
Okay, hey you guys. Hopefully y'all can hear me. So let me just jump right into it. Since I just got on. But here's what I would say. To the girl, the lady that is speaking. who was previously speaking. I'm not sure because I didn't catch all of your story, but I'm just going to tell you by how you speak, you sound like a part of you is dead. Um, and that's just something that I want you to be aware of. Um, I heard you speak a little bit about people around you, how it made you feel. But I just want you, and just anybody in general who is listening, um, do self healing first. Um, it's okay to reach out to people. It's okay to tell someone how you feel. And it's okay to get your points across, even if the other person does not understand it. All those things are okay. But you first have to realize that there's something within you that is allowing you to accept uh, any type of disrespect from anyone. Any type of negativity from anyone. There is something. It might be like, oh, I need to have friends. I want people to like me. I want to seem like I'm a part of the crew. I want to fit in. And a lot of times it's not all about fitting in. It's mostly about standing out. Um, I can tell you when I was a after school counselor, um, we had parents that were very difficult, and I had other counselors tell me about certain parents, and I've always this has always been my motto. No one put fear in my heart, like no one. I don't care how big someone is. I don't care how much money that person has. I don't care how big that person ego is. I don't care how much negative things they say about me. I, no one put fear in my heart. No one. So that's what we have to think about first. When I mean self-healing, you are in control of your actions, you are in control of your feelings. Never allow someone to determine how you're going to react. So someone can say, hey, I don't like the way Sheila is, whatever you're doing. I don't like the way you're doing that. I don't like the way she's doing this. You can hear this 24/7, but you should never allow what that person said or that person's energy to stick to you, because you become so heavy that everything and everyone seems like it's coming after you. You become so heavy, you get tired of carrying your burdens. And in self helping yourself, you write down, get a journal. And this is for anybody, like I said, get a journal, write down the things that you may see wrong with you, your flaws. Write those down, because you don't want anybody else to tell you what your flaw is. Okay? That's your flaw. That's something that okay, I don't like this about myself. I know that I'm working on this. So if somebody comes up to me and say, hey, I don't like your attitude about this, I know. I got it. It's under control, you know. As for me, um, I'm actually newly divorced. Well, I've been divorced since January, and I was married for 10 years. And a part of being married, sometimes as women, we often um, get so caught up in the title of a wife, and if we have children, we get caught up of the title of a mom, and we forget about ourselves. We take on those titles and we hold them to such a high standard that it's like there's no more us. And during that process, we actually break down a part of ourselves daily. So it's up to us to see, hey, you know what? I'm realizing I'm breaking down. That's why you hear a lot of moms say, hey, when I go to Walmart, I have a grocery list, or I'll leave out there with stuff for my kids, but I won't leave out there with anything for me. Oh, hey, I'm going shopping for me, but I'll go to the store and then I'm picking up stuff for my family. And by the time I'm back home, I don't have anything for myself. Uh, we get consumed in that. And once we have a hole, or once there is something that's going wrong, sometimes we tend to want to hold on, like I did. I wanted to hold on to my marriage, and I wanted to hold on to my family unity. That's what kept me. You know, I then started seeing like, oh my goodness, nobody's gonna like me, nobody's gonna love me, there's nobody else who would want me. And those were all things that I made up myself. Those weren't things that anyone else told me, you know. Those weren't things that somebody came up and said, hey girl, nobody's gonna want you. But those were all the things that I had made up in my head that, oh, if I leave out this marriage, I'm not going to have anything. It's going to be hard. I'm going to be struggling. Nobody's going to want me. I don't know how to talk to guys, this, that, and the third. And I eventually started healing myself. You know, for women, sometimes the last thing to leave is our minds. And that was the last thing that left my marriage, was my mind. And once everything left, I followed. And that's it. Sometimes we hold on to stuff because in our minds, that's just something like we cannot break out of. And once you see that you're in control of who you are, you're in control of your choices, you're in control of your finances, you're in control of your blessings. Once you realize that, so many things will start happening. And a lot of women do not realize that. A lot of men don't realize that we are in control of our lives. You know, we really are. We are in control of our blessings. Stop speaking into negative situations because you're only going to draw negative energy to you. A lot of people even put caps on their blessings. Sometimes we say, Lord, if you get me out of this, I won't do it again. Or, oh, I need $100 for my light bill. I just need $100 for my light bill. We speak that out to the universe. And what do we get? Sometimes we get just that $100 for that light bill and nothing else. Yeah, so we have to start speaking upon ourselves. Start telling yourself, I do mirror talk with myself. When I wake up in the morning, I clean up, I sit in front of my mirror, I do my makeup if I choose to do makeup that day, and I talk to myself. I say, I am beautiful, I'm rich, I'm wealthy, I accept all the blessings that I once blocked, because in any type of turmoil, we block our blessings because we take our mind off of positivity. We take our mind off of the things that we want. And it's okay to want. It's not selfish. You're not selfish for wanting for yourself. That's loving who you are. A lot of people, tend to look at it like that. Like, a lot of people say, hey, if I want this for myself, that means, I'm being selfish. No, you're not. Take care of you so you can take care of someone else. you know so yeah, that's all I wanted to say.
Jen,
As of right now,
Jen. If only you, I swear, if some of these men could hear how you talk, I'm telling you right now, they believe that you are a fairy tale. Mr. Richard, I tell y'all, they be thinking women like her don't exist. And I mean, and the thing about it is, listen, y'all, what she says is true. When me and Melissa had our separation, I went into drinking. I went into doing coke. I went into a slump of women and abuse. And my my brother was like, is that all you got? Is that the best you can do? And I said, what the fuck else you want from me, man? I lost it all. I ain't got no kids. I ain't got no family. He said, damn, why are you so pathetic? I didn't know about no pills or any, towels or any. All I know about was just, he said, get up. And I started focusing on me. And just like Jen is saying, I started writing what I wanted. And I started making little goals. I've been homeless before. I've been down in the dumps. So I know what it's like to stay in the shelter, Steves. I know. You got to be in before a certain hour. You know, if you want to make chow time, you know what I'm saying, them peanut butter crackers and lemonade and stuff, and you got to, no cell phones past a certain hour. Me and Miss Research, we could tell you, we two self-made successful men, and you gotta have the self-motivation to keep going on. See, not everybody has that innate gene. So they see you winning today, but they don't know what you did to win that battle. You know, they'll say, "Oh, dang," you know, they'll like, "Ooh, that's a pretty picture that Jen took. God damn, you look fine, shawty." But then they don't know the work that she puts in. They'll see Mr. Research flashing the suits and the cash, but they don't know the work that he'll put in. You know, they'll see the pretty young girl like you, Steve, but see, they don't know what you've been through. See, everybody likes the end product, but they don't know what it takes to make the product. They're not willing to keep up the assembly line to keep up that type of product. See, that's why it's called building. You know what I'm saying? And so that's why when it comes to it's a recipe for disaster, because all they know is how to make half of a good product. That's all they know. You know what I'm saying? And it's true. Let me make sure I show this real quick. You know, I got to showcase. Some people did request it. Jen has a line of products. If you come over to her page, Beautifully Made Hair Products by Jen. Beautifully Made Hair Products by Jen. Make sure I got that for y'all. And over there, of course, you know she's a beautiful woman. And I already have a few of these in my bathroom. Jen, you still doing deals for these products or no? You got
Hold
any
on,
deal?
I can't really hear you. You said what?
You still doing any deals for these products?
No, I'm no longer doing the sample sets. That was actually going away sale.
Mm-hmm.
But I may bring it back just because I like to give people the option of trying everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I may bring it back.
Okay. Well, y'all would have to talk to her about that. But I can tell you right now, her products do work. As you already say, if y'all hurt my baby, I'll have to kill y'all. But she does make good products for that even women and children try out. So all these are pictures of kids and people that try out the products, and they all are natural. Nothing that hurts any of our hair, our skin, our scalp. She makes all of this natural. That actually is good for you. And she's literally been making whole. She's been. I think. Didn't you just not come out with a new product just not too long ago? I believe you came. I
Yeah,
think you
well, I
said.
actually
Go ahead.
I have a few. I have a rose infused line that I'm working on. That will be coming out soon, and then I also have Color Pop. So the Color Pop is all natural, temporary color wax that can be applied to our hair.
So, I want you to understand. Literally, you can always hit her up. I will put the link to the Facebook where you can have these things mailed to you. She does mail them to you, and literally. Literally you can actually set up bundles of how you want them for lotion. I enjoy the shea butter creams. They are really, really good. Really good. Especially for us men who got some rough skin. But you'd be surprised. Sometimes when a woman shakes your hand, she be feeling a man's hand to see how they feel. Y'all don't know that. She actually be trying to see do you take care of yourself? That's a hidden fact. So but literally a lot of these products, she also does clothes. But a lot of this stuff works for children. If you want to get yourself a nice, simple gift for somebody, whether it be a fellow or a lady to use in the shower, this is where y'all talk about supporting your own people. Guess what? I'm literally putting this before you. Where you see how that cute baby, literally that's her hair. No added stuff, no chemicals. That is all the products. That's all her hair naturally. All natural stuff from honey, grapes, Um, so what's that? Sunflower seeds. So she does all this stuff.
No, it's just grape seeds.
That's grape seeds. Oh, you know me. You know I got bad
Yeah,
eyes.
grapeseed oil.
But literally, she does really good work. But I can give it right back to Mr. Research or okay, yeah. T Black says no deals, just support black business. I love T Black. He be like, yo, let's stop shortchanging our black businesses and just support them. And like I said, when I hit up Steez about this, I wanted her to know that we here to talk. You know what I'm saying, Steez? Like, I want you to know that you have a network of people. You know what I'm saying? That literally would help you build. You know, and that's one of the
And
things
that's,
about. Go ahead.
yeah, and for you to say that, that's something big. Like that's something so rare because it's like people would only like care to hear you if there's, if it's some type of monetary exchange, or if it's just, if they feel like you're just that type of person that they want to hear from. Other than that, they just become dismissive and they just leave you to your own devices like that.
Right.
And those are the people that are supposedly these so-called spiritual counselors and whatever else title that they are. You would never think that they would actually do that to you. But for me to experience all that and experience other things trying to seek help, it just makes me view the world a certain type of way. Like, oh,
Right.
so people are really like that. People really don't give a fuck. Like, okay, so people actually go through 10 years, 11 years of schooling, or however long they went to school to become this so-called psychiatrist or something, and this is how they treat you. Wow. And that's why I feel the way I do. That's why I, that's why I just, just say, just screw this, like, fuck this, and this person this, and leave me the hell. I just become so, I just became so angry. I just feel like, nothing's gonna ever work my way. I end up becoming pessimistic because of these so-called people that I try to get help from. And it's because I'm a humble person. I do look into the mirror. I don't want to be someone that I'm not. I am who I am. But then when I run into these people that claim that they have an MD in this, they have a PhD or whatever the hell else, and this is what you're looking for, you expect them to do their job only to turn around and not do their job. So anybody can go fucking insane, especially when it happens multiple times. So how else am I going to express myself?
Right.
No one wants to hear me. Relatives is just, this person is this. Is like, I was left by my own. Getting into these senseless fights to get some type of sense out of something.
Let me ask a
And it's still not making anything.
Let me answer this. Jen, they asked, is it only Facebook only how they can get in contact with you for your products? Is it only Facebook only?
Yes. I do have an Instagram, but I haven't really build on Instagram. So right now, yes, it's only Facebook.
We'll work on that, Deborah, to help her expand her stuff. I'll get in contact with her. We'll set up something so that way we can expand on that. We got a lot of business people that we can help you expand on that and help you build on that. Go ahead, Mr. Research. But I know you got some stuff you want to lay into.
Well,
Go ahead, brother.
I just want to be helpful.
Yes,
And
sir.
at Steve's, So as of right now, we've heard we've heard your concerns. Uh, what are your goals right now outside of other people?
So sometime this year, I want to leave my job. Sometime this year, or early next year, just depending. I plan on relocating and start a new career.
Okay.
Um, I'm tired. I'm tired. I'm tired of shortchanging myself. I'm tired of just settling. And I need to start a new chapter in my life. And it was, and I have to say, when BMT messaged me and told me that he wanted to um, do this panel with me, I was elated. I was like, oh my goodness, like wow. And
Uh,
this right now, I'm in a period this week right now where I took off. I decided to take off. I let my supervisor know and everything, and because I just needed a mental break, and I have been delaying so many things. Um,
that was a good thing to do. Let me ask this other question. How long
yeah.
have you been at your job?
How long have I'm sorry?
How long have you been at your job?
I've been in the job since last September.
Okay. So before that, the position before that, was that somewhat more enjoyable?
Before the position that I took in
Current,
September.
currently have, yeah.
Oh, and now it's overwhelming. It's really overwhelming. I don't want it.
No,
Um,
no, no, no. My question is the position you had before the one that is causing
uh
you some concern,
yeah.
was
hmm
that position a little bit better?
No, no, it was not. No.
So have you lived any other place than where you currently live? Outside of
I
state?
temporarily. Oh, you mean outside of the state that I live in?
Yeah.
I lived in I temporarily lived in Miami,
And what
and
was your experience in Miami? Did you go through some concerns there?
oh man, it was bittersweet.
Okay, okay. So my
Yeah.
final question, and I'm saying this to be helpful, if you make this move and you find that some of the same things are happening, what would be your first hypothetical thing to do if you make this move, let's say to another state, and you find some of the same things happening? What would be the first thing you think of?
I haven't really thought of that, to be honest.
Okay.
I did think of I do think of before I move do my due diligence in the area, um, see if like see about the crime rate there, see about just a lot of things before I make that decision, that big decision.
Okay, absolutely. So I say all that to say this. I won't talk about you. I'll talk about a client that I had. I had a client who,
Mm-hmm.
everywhere she moved, the same type of energy followed.
Mm-hmm.
And even though this is not your situation, I do want you to consider it for growth purposes.
Mm-hmm.
If you move and you tend to find some of the same things reoccurring, I want you to, kind of like what Jen said, get in a mirror and be honest about some things that are consistently happening. Because I think, just like Jen said, sometimes we have to at least, doesn't mean we incorrect, doesn't mean it's all us, but I had to do it. Everybody has to do it. We have to get in the mirror and at least correct the part that is us. And a
Right.
lot of times that is the reactionary part.
I agree.
So Rob in the chat room, and this is a perfect example. I'm tittering over to the chat room to kind of be helpful in this. A lot of times, Rob, when a person says something, and I'm not coming down on you, Rob, I'm just using you as an example. When a person says something, you might not understand it, but it doesn't mean that it isn't valid. It may be valid in 2021. It may be valid in February. Sometimes when people are giving wisdom or suggestions or different way of thinking, which is what I do. I just give a different way of thinking. I'm not right. It's just a different way of thinking. Sometimes people have to consider the number one thing in all of psychology. Look in this mirror and at least take the speck out of your eye that you probably placed there. In my case, I placed a bunch of specks in my eyes at one period of time. When things hit the fan, Rob, I was on that they, them, she, but at least 40% of that was me. And because I wanted the, them, they, and she to operate a certain way, I personally came to the understanding that some of 40% of what I was doing wasn't looking for a solution. It was looking for control over what I thought the they them they and she should be doing when I'm around. Sometimes you have to consider that. Sometimes you have to consider what are you doing on your 40%, 30%, 20%. Take care of that first. And sometimes the world opens up and you start shedding some of these things because as I said, a lot of things are vibrational. A lot of things are magnetic. And just like Jennifer also said, she's speaking positivity into her own ears.
Right.
Whether she could have probably went through something horrific, but that 40% of positivity she keeps putting in her own ears creates a vibrational thing. And come Wednesday, 60% of that is gone, or she got a windfall, or some great order come in, or some great contract came next month. But a lot of things, a lot of work that people do in counseling and psychology as a whole has to do with self reflection. So that's what I'm talking about, Rob. Sometimes even when Jennifer has done me wrong, I still have to look at the 30 or 25% that I did to create the scenario that helps me keep getting this type of energy. Because if I move to Texas, I've lived in quite a few states. If I move to Texas, move to Seattle, and then the energy or the scenarios keep happening, well, part of that is me. And I at least need to do my part to remove my stuff. And once I did, things start quadrupling better for me.
Well, let me say this real quick. How y'all doing?
So I guess I do.
All right. Saying what's up to the congregation and all that. All right, so check this out, right? I don't know, when a person is an empath or a person is a spiritual person, right? No matter where you go, sometimes if you're a good person, negative energy is going to be there. So what you have to learn to do is seclude yourself, not you in particular. I don't know. I'm just basically, piggybacking off of the last portion of CA Lettre, leader of the ADOS Black American. Okay. I'm just piggybacking off of what he was saying, right? Sometimes negative energy is going to follow a good person because we live in a negative world. And when you're a good person or you have an energy that is not worldly, you're
going to attract that negative energy. So it's not necessarily that you would have to change anything about yourself to make yourself a better person per se, but you would change yourself in the sense of not having to deal with those negative energies. So you would seclude yourself and protect your energy. Regardless of where you go, you're going to face, if you're this type of entity that I'm speaking on, you're going to face that pushback from people. And sometimes you won't even understand why it's happening until you actually get into the understanding, the spiritual understanding of why it's happening. And then it'll be like, oh, well, damn. So then you will start to, like I said, protect your energy. You will remove yourself from certain situations, and you will see that you'll get a better outcome. But you will first have to understand, if this is this type of person, you would have to understand why these types of things are happening. And you would first have to understand yourself. Because I've ran into some crazy situations, and I consider myself a rather good person. I mean, my mama, after all, did name me deity. Okay. So, I mean, my God. But I would consider myself a good person. But what I've noticed is that I do have negative, there are a lot of, it's a spiritual warfare where wicked people attach themselves to good, not for a good reason, but it's like they get curious about you, or motherfuckers, they're jealous, and people will attack, and that's just what it is. It is what it is. So like I said, once you understand who you are, you would then know how to move in a room full of vultures or in a negative situation. But if you're not sure of what it is, or if you're the type of person that you may be so good that you're actually bad for yourself, that's also a negative situation as well, then you would have to check that too. Because some people have low self-esteem, and people with low self-esteem also attract negative energy. So, you can get two situations that get the same result, but the foundation is completely different. So you could be a good person and negative energy comes to you because they want to attack you and bring you down, or you could be a person that's just not good for yourself, but you may be too good to other people and you attract negative energy that way. Or you can
So,
just be a negative ass person. Go ahead.
so wait, what do you mean by you may be bad for yourself? You're too good that you're bad. Something to that effect. Like, clarify that, because it kind of sounds, I don't know. It's something about it just
Yeah,
doesn't sound.
I was thrown off a little bit, but I'm listening to
Oh,
some.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
don't. Yeah.
kind of.
So,
Uh,
okay. Go ahead. Go ahead.
yeah, that threw me off. So I don't
So
know
a
what
person
that
can
means.
be, absolutely. So for instance, a person who has low self-esteem, right? They could be so damaged that they don't heal themselves, but they look to heal other people, other damaged people, and they attract damaged energy, and damaged people hurt people hurt people. And so if this particular being is not the type of person that wants to hurt people, but they want to help people, and it's not an altruistic help. It's coming from a place of them not wanting to face their own problems and their own demons, that they go and find broken people that have similar issues and they want to heal that person. But what ends up happening is that negativity from that person that they're trying to help, it rubs off on them, or that person that they're trying to help attacks them. So you can be so good to other people that it can actually hurt yourself if you allow yourself to get taken advantage of in that way. But again, that also is not coming from a good place. It's coming from a place of a person who doesn't want to face their own demons. So it may seem
Well,
good to one to go ahead.
yeah. So I've been in seclusion, I would say, for for a very long time, for as long as I can remember, and I purposely wanted to be in that type of state because I needed to know myself.
Mhm.
I needed to also be honest with myself, and I needed time to kind of right my wrongs, but also realize that I don't deserve to be victim blamed No one deserves to be victim blamed. Being victim blamed is the most, I can't even, toxic is an understatement. That's like being victim blamed is like something lethal.
Yes.
So,
So let me take it back because I don't want to make it just a one on one. Y'all do that on
okay.
y'all time.
Oh, I just
But
got on here.
I know. But I definitely want to make sure because we have it where Jennifer literally is more so on this kind of thing, and I definitely don't want to make sure I use Jennifer time wise. Jennifer, you there? Um, Let me make sure I'm.
Yeah, I'm here.
So one of the sad things about it is that, and I'm gonna let Jennifer reply to this for you, Steez. A lot of people came at you, and as no matter what you did, it was your fault why the relationship didn't work. They they threw a lot of arrows at you. We're watching where a lot of women they go into a negative space, or a lot of people go into a negative space because they haven't learned how to pick themselves out of the ditch, um, and literally haven't learned how to progress and actually move forward. You hear a lot of people say, "Just get over it." I'm sure you heard that before. Just get over it. Don't worry about it. Don't think about it. What's your
Dismiss.
right? They'll dismiss it, you know, and that is a form of just of victim blaming. You know what? How many weeks has it been? You still talking about it? Like, what's your thought process to that, and how do you deal with that? You know.
So hopefully you guys can hear me because
Yes, ma'am.
We could hear you.
um okay, cool. So just let me say there are steps to healing yourself. And for me, I always, no matter what the situation is, I always look at where the other person is coming from. That's one thing I always do. I don't care if they're in the wrong or I feel as though they're in the wrong. I always look where they're coming from, so I can understand why they would react in such a sense. And then I look at how my position is in the situation, and I base my reaction off of that. Like I said, I never allow anyone's energy, anyone's negativity to allow, you know, I never allow that energy to make my decisions. Because when we do that, we just act out or we lash out. Another thing is everybody's healing process will not be the same.
Right.
So you can't look at, your sister or your brother's situation, your coworker's situation, and say, well, they did it this way, so I'm going to do it this way too, and I'm going to expect the same thing to happen. That's not going to work either. You have to take this as, this is my path, this is who I am. Let me see my flaws. Let me understand whatever situation I am in. Let me get the understanding that I need, so that when I move forward, if this happens again, I'll know how to approach it. you know and I hear you talking about work, but this can be applied to work, the workplace, a marriage, friendships. These things, we all are human. We all make mistakes, and the hardest part about making a mistake is owning it. Okay, so you may say, hey, well, I'm choosing this job because I applied and they hired me, right? But your mistake could be, oh, I need this job right away, so you take the first job that they give instead of waiting for what you're called to do. And sometimes when we place ourselves in those type of negativity, we have to open our minds up. And I think that everyone is not capable of opening their minds up right away. I wasn't. I was in a place where, you know if someone was to come to me and say, hey, don't worry about it or whatever, that just made me close into myself. So I was more to myself, basically. So like I was saying, I was the one who was saying, "Oh, I'm not good enough." I was the one who was
Damn.
saying, "I'm not going to bring this up because they don't want to listen." And the reality of it, we have to release that stuff. So even if you're in the room talking to yourself, if you're in the bedroom and you're going over this like, "I can't believe this happened today, but I need to let this energy go," because the more you hold on to it, the bigger the explosion. The more you hold on to negativity and say, "Hey, you know what? Nobody wants to hear me talk. Nobody cares about how I feel. Nobody, nobody wants to look at me. Everybody thinks that I'm aggravating. I feel like I'm aggravating you when I say this." You know, the more we put that in our minds, it's like we become a ticking time bomb, basically.
So,
Yeah.
Everything
so,
will just, come. Everything will come out. Somebody can say, "Hey, somebody can come up to me and say, 'Hey, Jennifer, girl, I would have put a different pair of shoes on with that outfit.'" And you would be like, "Oh my God, you shouldn't tell me that. You don't tell me what to do." And the person would be like, just saying it in a friendly, joking manner or whatever it is. The smaller things will become so big to you when you close off
I would
yourself.
become a ticking time bomb. I'm sorry to
No,
interrupt.
go ahead.
Yes, there are moments that I became a ticking time bomb.
Hmm.
Yes, there are times because the people that so okay, so I'm a victim of narcissistic abuse. I'm recovering. I'm a survivor of it, and I join in groups in social media, and I um, also and I'm a part of others that are victims of narcissistic abuse and read their stories and it just touched me how it's like not only do I feel like I'm not alone, but it's just how relatable the trauma that they had endured, and it's just like all this time I felt like I was alone. All this time I feel like, damn, I really can't defend myself the way that I wanted to, especially that I'm in a state where it's a no carry state. It's like, am I supposed to just vet and just like whatever? And then I just take it out on people that mean no harm because the people in my life meant a lot of harm. I ended up misdirecting my anger to those that don't deserve it.
Hmm.
So then it's like when I'm trying, it's like, as you said, yeah, I encountered people that were so dismissive, inconsiderate. How many times you got to talk about this? How many times this? Well, I thought you were my friend. I thought you were, this whomever that you were that I trusted, and this is what you do to me. Oh, okay. So I'm thinking that everybody is the same. I'm thinking that people ain't crap because of the things that I had to suffer and trying so many ways, so many avenues to reach this person, to reach this, to seek for help. It's freaking, it's getting out of my mind. It's like, it's driving me nuts.
but I want to.
So,
And it's just,
Go ahead.
yeah, so I'm in the recovering process, and right now until I'm able to see whatever professional help, I just go vent in YouTube. Like
So
that my catharsis.
no, no. So we're gonna start working with that. Like I said, um, one of the first things I would want you to start practicing on is when you start feeling somebody um is saying something that is offending your spirit or feel offending you, your nature, say stop. I don't care if it's during a speech. I don't care if it's during a doggone they on a roll or they feeling good into whatever the hell they're saying. Say I don't agree with it respectfully. Uh, let's just stop right here
Mhm.
because I had to learn how to do that for myself. I had to learn how to do that for myself. Whenever I start hearing people say some stuff and I don't agree with, one of my issues was I would carry that energy, carry that mentality, carry that problem, and I go, why the I, I don't do it no more. But that means I let that amount of my time and energy be wasted upon somebody of a vagabond that does not care for me and my space and my time, my energy. And I understand that you want healing, but I'd say the thing about it is whenever you're in a surgery, they don't allow certain people near the surgery because the person or the patient is still tender. So for right now, you don't need to let certain things into your space. I love how Jen says before she deals with, other than her children, she takes time to herself first. Steez has to start self-medicating herself first. Don't medicate the world. Don't try to heal nobody else. Say respectfully, I'm healing myself right now. So that way, whenever you feel like you're in a certain zone, you're letting them know, hey, thank you for your advice, but that respectfully, I'm on my own self journey. Nobody can get me there but me. You know what I'm saying? Don't nobody else can walk you. Nobody else can walk you through it but you. We can offer you a lantern. I can offer you a light. Jen can give you all the advice, but at the end of the day, it's going to be up to Steez on what she wants to take herself through and how much can you bear. Because we can't bear it for you. You have to bear it for you. You got to start taking off the weight of yourself and start telling yourself, you got to start chanting to yourself, I will not be a victim today. I will not be a victim.
Exactly.
I will not be blamed today. When you start speaking that stuff in,
Yeah, I will not.
okay? So I know I want to stop it at an hour and some change. I'm going to definitely hit up Jen. I want to showcase the products one last time. If y'all
Hold
want
on,
to.
wait, before you do that, can I
Yes,
tell her something?
yes, ma'am.
Um, I want you to get a journal, and I want you to write your story. Not saying what you've already been through. I want you to write your story as of where you're going.
That sounds cool.
Because a lot of times we, you know, may have been a victim to whatever our situation was, and we carry that same thing like, oh, this happened to me before, so I don't want this to happen to me again. I can't do this because this happened to me. Oh my God, this happened to me. So I want you to clear all that out. Be aware of your surroundings. Be aware of who you are. Be aware of who you speak to. But first, you have to speak to yourself. You can't expect to reach out to someone and say, oh, I need help with this, and just think that by talking to that person, I don't care if they're a psychiatrist, a psychologist, I don't care. Just because you go sit down, a lot of doctors or people think like, hey, if I go sit down and talk to this person right here, I'm going to be okay. I'm going to be fine. And the reality of it is, you have to speak to yourself before you speak to anybody else. Okay? So just write your story. Say, hey, my name is, I was born in, and this is where I'm going. As of whatever day you start, as of tomorrow, whatever day you pick up your pen and write in that journal, write your story down. Say, I'm going to start my business. I'm going to start planning my business. I'm going to start researching products. I'm going to, whatever it is that you want to do, or you think, hey, I'm going to meet my Prince Charming, I'm going to have 3 kids. I'm going to have 4 kids. Write your story out. Believe your story. Read your story. Don't worry about all of the hurt, because sometimes the hurt can actually break us
Indeed.
down,
Right.
you know. So
Now,
that's what I want to tell you. Just write your story.
now, Steez, when we get off, I'm gonna hit you up and talk to you. I thank Dee for coming through. I'm gonna grab my girl Jen, for more empowerment talk because Jen, you still got the gift, baby. You definitely still got
Yeah,
it.
I can hear you a little.
You still got it. You still got the gift. I need to get you more often for this. But I want y'all, I challenge y'all, if y'all can, hit up my girl Jen, self-made business owner, literally selling products that are literally, they're out there. I believe they're already getting on shelves. Beautifully made hair products by Jen, natural hair products that work for women, men, and beautiful babies. Literally, she says she might bring back the sample set. A lot of the fans in the chat are saying, no, don't do deals, Jen. You charge us fairly. We need to support you. And I'm for that. And she's all natural, y'all. She's all natural. I done hugged and kissed a lot of our babies, a lot of our Geechee babies over here, and we got that good here over here. So, and all that is no chemicals in there. That's all her products, and they work good. I could show y'all my daughters here. We put it in our daughters here, and they like it. Whenever they get their hair done, I know we might have to restock on some bottles soon. But the butters and the creams, everything that's 4 months, the products are really good. Literally, I encourage y'all. No negative remarks. I don't think, Jen, have you ever got back a negative remark?
No.
I don't know who crazy that. I don't know who would ever done that. I mean, and we've been supporting her, and she's growing. She's self-made, and literally, like I think Jen, like I said, she had a job for the school. She's employed herself. One day I want to see her have her own manufacturing where other ladies are helping her make these products, and she's getting them out more faster. You know what I'm saying? And I think she's also doing clothing. You know what I'm saying? For any of y'all men, you know what I'm saying? She is single. If y'all want to, talk to her, she is single. But if y'all hurt her, I will shoot you. But other than that, there's products out there. And also, Jen, y'all still doing clothes?
Yes, well, my sister, if you guys want to check her out, she does customized clothing. It's pressed by us on Facebook. And it's PRESS_D and then US. So I gave her my design, and then she did those for me. The lymph check tees. But yeah.
So, like I said, and I love that literally, these they're out here making clothing as well as products of lotions, shea butters, whip butter. I don't know half of this damn stuff. I know I put it in my hair for my dreads, and my scalp feels good. And you know what I'm saying? So, y'all don't want to go to the Asian man store. You can go straight to her, and she does it. I am going to talk with her later on tomorrow, probably to find another way other than just Facebook or Instagram, so that way she can get in touch. Y'all can get in touch with her. Which baby is that? I forgot that damn child's name, but I know that's her.
Her name is Ariel.
Ariel, no, listen, when you start getting my age, you start forgetting all these children's names. So I just call them child, and they come. They all come at one time, and I know that they're eating and they fed. But Ariel, her hair, I believe, is longer than that now. It's actually longer than that. Did she cut her hair?
No. Well, yeah. Actually, her hair was cut. I did a big chop like 2.5 years ago.
Right.
So that's 2.5 years of growth. And there should be a picture of her hair stretched. It's like a black and white picture. So her hair is butt length now.
Now, and the thing about it is, one of the things about it, there we go. One of the things about it is this is 2 years post big chop. So one of the things I love about it is have love for yourself. She teaches her children to have love for themselves and love their image, love who they are, and them kids got a strong self-esteem, and you can't tell them nothing. No, and that's what you need these days. You got to have faith in yourself. You know what I'm saying? So, and that's something that I'm glad that she puts into their heart. You know what I'm saying? Believe in yourself. And that's what we tell you, Steez. Believe in yourself. Believe in yourself. You know what I'm saying? Don't let nobody tell you anything different. I am so happy that Dee came through and Dee gave encouragement. What's that? Is that the rice water? That's the rice water one. See, I'm learning the products. I'm getting better. I'm learning the products.
Well, I ain't really say too much. You know,
Nah.
'cause I really
Oh,
didn't.
you came late. You came late, Dee. I couldn't help you. So you
But
came late.
hold on, let me say this though.
All right.
With the word victim, what people have to understand is and this is to anybody who considers themselves to be a victim of something that was in their control. A lot of the times those things could have been avoided. So you do have to look at yourself and see what your issue is for allowing yourself to be placed in that quote unquote form of victimhood. And if it's in a relationship with a significant other, meaning somebody that you were not born in this world with, someone who did not bring you into this world, and you had full self-control to remove yourself from that situation. If you didn't do that, or if you weren't able to see the signs of negativity, then there was something, in a sense, unfortunately, there was something wrong with the so-called quote unquote victim.
So
Now that doesn't necessarily mean that you're a bad person per se, but again, when you have full self-control and love of self, you wouldn't put yourself in a negative situation. It is what it is.
but Didi, you fell for a bad guy. You told us that you fell for a guy who was bad, and
Yeah,
literally he.
yeah,
But,
and I wasn't at when exactly, and that's how I can speak on this situation. When I dealt with that particular person, I was looking for a form of love. I was looking for
mm,
he was an escape. He was a form of an escape for me because I didn't like my current situation at that particular moment. And instead of focusing on removing myself from it, genuinely removing myself from it, I was looking for somebody else to help me get through that. And that person happened to be a negative person. And so I was looking to heal that person instead of actually healing myself.
okay, okay. Um, all right. I put there in the link towards Jen's thing, and also I can't overlook this. Y'all do me a solid. Go over to my baby girl Underground Steez's channel. She's now coming up in the ranks. And support her. I know she dropped a few videos. She talks about a lot of stuff. Um, and I told her I'm gonna have her come over more often for us to have. They're short little speakers. But I definitely want to have her do more talks. I'm definitely going to be working and helping her mentor her channel. I got like doggone 8 channels under me right now, and literally I'm like, but Steez is special to me, so I definitely got her. I definitely got her back on this one. So, and your homework, Steez, and for anybody else, get a notebook. Jen gave you homework for y'all. Y'all sit down. You know what I'm saying? Shit, I don't know if y'all gotta grab yourself some candle or some incense or whatever y'all do, y'all women do or men do, and away from everybody else, start writing out your story. What is it? What you want to be and what you want to see, and work towards that. And
Yes, where you want to go.
where you want to go. I'm pretty sure Jen likes to write, so she's been doing that in school. I don't
That's
write.
great.
I just watch anime, but that's just me. But write it out. I don't want you to come on and tell us. If I got to, I can get Jen's emails these and send it to you so that way y'all two can have, I believe, y'all own personal talk. Okay, Jen, you want me to get your email and get it over to her so that way y'all can talk. I think Jen is a pretty good
Yeah,
level head, huh?
yeah, I definitely appreciate that, and I'm more of a, I guess now I would say I'm more of a vocal person, and which is really the reason why I decided to create content recently. So um, yeah, I don't mind writing them, but I can also I can look into the internet on things that are related to the goals that I have, and then just do the podcast based on that. Because again, I'm more of a vocal person. Like when I read things and when I feel that wow, like this really hits home, It behooves me to just speak out on things. I understand, people have different types of therapy. Writing can be therapy, singing can be therapy, drawing can be, whatever the therapy is. My therapy is just to speak out, because when I try to speak out on things, people shun me, people become dismissive, people try to uphold this type of pain or this type of whatever the situation is above my situation, making me feel like I don't deserve to be heard, like I don't have a voice. And that's the worst thing to ever feel.
But see,
Besides,
I'm gonna tell you this though.
mhm.
You gotta get rid of your demons first. And see what I mean by that is when a person is in turmoil, because what you're doing, what you have going on, like if a person who has the mindset that you're speaking on, not you in particular, 'cause I don't know if you're in that current situation. Again, I came in here last minute. But when a person is looking, or they're like stressed out and they're looking for answers from people, and they're constantly getting negative, a negative response, um, you're hurting your, like, that's a demon. And so you have to figure out what's wrong with you, and then you have to fix that. Because
But
see,
I'm gonna have to cut you off on that, because that kind of goes back to the victim blame here.
right, and that's what
Because right, but the thing is, but why should I have to? Why should something have to be wrong with me if the wrong was done to me instead of me doing something wrong to them? I can
Right.
understand if I initiated something to somebody, if I try to attack somebody, try to bully somebody, but if I'm the person that's being attacked and I don't do any wrong, I don't ask for anything monetary, I don't do something that can cause people to do something to me back. So why should that's kind of feeling
because
uncomfortable.
okay, so there's a difference between being a genuine victim and being a victim that allows yourself to be a victim. So I'll give you an example. A person walking down the street and they get punched in the face out of nowhere, that's a victim. They had no control over that. That was something that they would not even thought to avoid. But then you also have the other type of victim, the person who is in a continuous situation with a negative person, and they allow themselves to be in that situation. And those types of people then go and seek answers from people because they haven't figured out what their root cause is. And therefore, no matter what you hear, until you figure out what's going on with you, nobody can say anything that would justify whatever type of answer or feeling that you're feeling,
You're
or
talking
whatever.
about you're talking about the spiritual counselors, you're talking
No, I
about
didn't say nothing about spirit.
psychologists.
I didn't say nothing. What I'm saying is that there's a person who's a victim from being punched in the face don't go around looking for answers from other people. A person who puts themselves in a negative situation, they go around looking for answers from other people instead of looking and facing themselves.
Well, you guys, I'm gonna wrap
All
it
right.
up. Okay. We did good. Steve, you did good for your first big podcast. I think you did a really good job. Thank you, Dee Dee. I know Jen, she's right now getting ready some orders, and I got to get ready some stuff also. I'll be seeing you guys later. I did about 6 hours worth of podcasting. That is crazy. Actually, over 6 hours of podcasting. So I did my job. Tomorrow, I probably won't be doing no podcasting on my channel. I got to go do some stuff on other people's channel. So I'm done for today. And probably tomorrow I'll be kicking back. I'll be seeing you guys later. This is BMT. I'll see y'all guys along with Steve's. Peace. Y'all have a good day.